first participant of the first Swadharma batch, which was in August 2016. And one of the ideas behind the program is to help individuals come in touch with their inner guidance. And this program has helped me to a great extent on the journey that I'm on. So I'm going to start by throwing some light on what led to Swadharma. Like we were speaking about this morning, there's this whole growing unschooling movement because there's a great dissatisfaction with the conventional education system. It's not able to satisfy the needs of the present day learner. There's this idea that I'm missing a sense of purpose. There's lots of individuals with tons of energy, tons of great ideas, but they often feel that where to put their energy, not having that sense of direction. And now that we are having all of these global challenges, we need more and more creative, self-aware people who can drive things. And one of the things that we came to during the first working session was to have for people a genuine inquiry for any program to be able to help them. And the last is that organically going about finding one's path is, although as ideal as it may sound, but can take a lot of time. And the possibility that this journey can be shortened, just like how, just giving an analogy, but I don't have the visual here, that we've seen that graphic in the visitor center exhibition of that straight line and that zigzag line which Mother speaks about, that there are so many ways to get to evolve states of being, and there's a shortest path. So we need not go through that whole lot of journey. A lot of time can be saved, which is what led to the conception of the program. And so it's basically a 5 weeks program for young adults. It's a residential program in Auroville to help individuals come in touch with their true inner guidance, from where the call for action comes, and just a natural harmony between their action in the world outside and harmony inside can be developed. The key pedagogical elements of the Swadharma program are, it's an immersive program, self-referential, integral, experiential. I'm going to go through all of these in the following slides and show how Swadharma embodies these. Immersive, so it's a residential full-time program. There is 45 plus faculty that the participants meet, and these are people who have been basically on a journey for a long time. These are individuals from within Auroville who have spent time exploring themselves, going through the journey, so they have a lot of wealth and value to impart through their work. So we try to bring individuals in touch with these people, and the idea behind is not for them to just know the work that these people are doing, but to come in touch with that space from where these people have been able to put the action into the world. And what is it that drives them? What is that to come in touch with that inner fire? So we use Auroville as a campus, and we meet a lot of people, individuals, organizations to connect with the spirit that they work with. And kind of we have, as self-exploration, we have kind of like this idea that there's a self at the center, which is in a context of a society and a bigger context of the environment. So how can life be bridged and be in harmony with all of these three, which is actually what people are looking for. The next, this is what I was speaking about, the transferring the flame. It's not the informational bit of that this is doing this or this is doing that, but to come in touch with that inner space of action and connection. So we meet lots of people. I'm just going to quickly go for the sake of time. But these are all people from Auroville. Jyoti, this is another person from outside, a Buddhist monk, nun from the University of California. Marco, Meenakshi from Mayakkam's Ilangarkal School, and this is one of the in-house sessions at Sire. It was self-referential. This is another of the key pedagogical elements, that there's no textbooks, no nothing. The only idea in this program is to help the learner come in touch with their inner guidance and find and learn to read oneself, what is happening inside them. And as facilitators of the program, we only focus on enabling the right conditions. So there is no teaching this or teaching that, but enabling conditions where all of that learning can emerge and happen. So a lot of the learning actually comes from the group, because over the period of time, the group we have regular sharing circles, which helps bring in perspectives and enable the conditions for growth and sharing. So to kind of look into the inner landscape, the idea of behind self-referential is that like turning the gaze inward and learning how to read actually what's happening inside. Because in the conventional education system, we're not so much encouraged to do that. And that whole, at least for me, I can speak that whole domain opened up for me in a tangible way once I went through this. So we have sessions that help resist. For the sake of time, I'm going to hurry through them. And integral is another aspect, which means that touching all parts of the being. This is also, interestingly, another aspect that we came to in our morning working session, that for a program to be holistic, it has to touch all the different parts of the being. Because if you look at the conventional education system, it's primarily a mental education system, but here we try to, this is inspired by the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo and based on the principles of integral education. So the idea is to come in touch and awaken all the different parts of the being. So we have sessions catering to all the different parts of the being at a higher level. You can look at them as the mental being, the vital being, and the physical body. And for the inner guidance to come in front and start leading that whole as all the different parts, and not a singular or a partial movement of one part or another. So we have sessions, normally the morning sessions are more mentally stimulating, and then afternoon sessions are usually going out for visits and meeting people so that we can find out about their work. Theater to come in touch with the emotions, and physical exercise and yoga, healthy food, and the students move around cycling during the 5 weeks of the program. It's a very intense program. And the last key element is that this is an experiential program. As much as focus we lay on the self-discovery part, which is the coming in touch with the true inner guidance, we also lay a very, very important focus on bridging ideas with action, because that is one of the things that the conventional education system doesn't focus on so much. So just having an idea is not enough, because often people have ideas, but it's very much more challenging to focus, to bridge that idea into action. So we have, in the 5 weeks of the program, we dedicate 10 days to actually practicing something and taking something up and jumping into it and learning by doing. So this is the self-mastery part. The initial part is more the self-discovery part. So we encourage people to take up an idea, and we start withdrawing the structure a little bit at this stage, so that they have to be more on their own now, and they start coming across. And so basically we help them plan, and the guidance is still there, but more and more withdrawn, so that they can be more on their own now and start facing the kind of challenges that they would start facing outside, but still in a system, so it kind of helps to, it's like a bridge. So this is during the micro-project phase, and this is when they actually come across a lot of challenges, because while they're in the system, it's very conducive and it drives them, but when the system is withdrawn, that's when a lot of challenges start showing up, laziness and doubt, and they have to really go deep inside to face this, because we don't drive them to do this, we ask them to choose something of their that they would like to do. And then all of the things that we explore during the initial part, this exploration helps. This is the toolkit they develop. And they have to kind of really put in quite some effort to get through this simple project part, which in principle is very simple, but actually not so much simple. So this is somebody doing his micro-project presentation. And then eventually, basically, at different points, different people find their breakthroughs. And This is one of the participants who did her, at the end of the micro project, they have to present their journey. This is another participant, and at the final end and every week progressively they have to keep sharing their learnings and their challenges from the week so that the learning keeps getting consolidated, and they have to really reflect on how the week went by to distill what was happening throughout. So this helps them to be in that reflective sharing space and to communicate effectively and build that confidence of creatively communicating. And this is the most recent group of Swadharma batch, which we just finished on this Saturday. This is 16 students. What next? So the end of the Swadharma is only a beginning of a bigger journey, and the kind of like the real challenge begins now, because they have had an experiential idea of what Swadharma can bring in, but it's when they go out into the system that's not as conducive as a system like Auroville, and it's not such a tightly held space, then a lot of things start showing back and challenges start showing. So this is when really the test is for the practices to come forward and help them. And we encourage people to stay back so that they can use Auroville's conducive growth environment and deep connection with fellow participants, connection with Auroville. And we have a growing tribe of people. We have 90+ people who've gone through the program now. And 6 batches so far. We've worked with more than 60 or even more facilitators in Auroville and outside. And 3 people who've gone through the Swadharma journey have now integrated with the team that offers the Swadharma program of the 6 people in the team. So the Swadharma participants are taking over the team now. We're 50% there. Okay, I'm running. And there's a lot of interest in the education, the kind of Manish is going to look at me, but alternate education community. We have a blog going on, and yeah, and we're planning an alumni meeting, which is that kind of people who've gone through the program come together to evaluate what it has offered, how it has affected or shaped their journey. And we also have the Swadharma Plus program that we're starting to offer now, which is a program for, it's the similar kind of inquiry, but for people for age range 30 to 50. It's a response to the need, because we got many requests that why should learning be limited to young adults only, and so we're trying it out for the first time in March. Thank you.